going to be drawing a picture of my favorite CRK rare pair, Shadowcheese. For anyone that might be new, which, oh my gosh, is quite a few people. Thank you all so much. But anyway, Shadowcheese is my ship of Shadow Milk and Golden Cheese, obviously. And I have made a video with a speed paint of them once before. But that was an experience. A quick warning, I will be getting kind of sappy because I love this ship so much and I love thinking about them. And with all that said, let's get into it. Okay, I'll stop. Oh my word. Oh no. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Kray and this is how I usually sound. And in case you're wondering, no, that was not an AI voice. That was me, and I will be giving no further context. If by any chance you're watching this video, which you are, then you're either here because you've watched my previous content and know what you're getting into, or you're trying to figure out of all ships for these two characters, I put them together. Or both. And I do like other ships for both characters. Shadow Lily is one I just found out existed, and I think it's adorable. I was also an Eternal Shadow shipper before I thought of Shadowcheese, and Smoked Golden is pretty cute too. Not Burning Cheese though, that ship can return to flower. I cannot stand ships between canonically opposed Ancients and Beasts. It works better for me when they don't have the same soul jam. But why on earth Shadow Milk and Golden Cheese specifically? Well, I also like thinking about character dynamics. My most popular content on YouTube is my kids AU, and that AU is mostly about the character dynamics for me. How would these two characters that never interact in canon get along is one of my favorite questions to ask. And the idea behind Shadowcheese, because there is a story behind it, as there, usually is with rare pairs, stems off the fact that they have something in common. They have canonically created a dimension that they lived in for some amount of time. Golden Cheese Cookie created the Golden Cheese Kingdom, and Shadow Milk has both the Dark Side of the Moon and the Spire of Deceit. And I'm going to pause here and say that I'm not going to explain any canon lore in detail. So if you don't know what I'm talking about and can handle some deep lore and kind of heavier stuff, I recommend either downloading CRK for yourself or watching the cutscenes on YouTube. But, back to the main point, they both have homes and dimensions separate from Earthbred while still having something anchoring them to the real world. And I've always kind of headcanoned that while the beasts were in the tree, they were kept separated so they couldn't, plot or anything, which leans in harder to the Shadow Milk is lonely thing that I literally have a whole video on, and there's this super amazing YouTuber named Autumn and Angel who has like 3 videos, 2 of which I haven't watched yet, just analyzing the trauma of him and every other character in that story. But, back to the main point again, I even scripted this video, help me. What if Golden Cheese Cookie accidentally manifested her kingdom into the Dark Side of the Moon where Shadow Milk was imprisoned, and what if Shadow Milk found it and was so bored and lonely he's decided to investigate, and since he's a beast and investigate means cause trouble, because, he's just silly like that, it wouldn't be long before he came face to face with Golden Cheese Cookie, and because he's still pretty gosh dang strong, she can't kick him out. So her only choice would be to follow him around and keep him from ruining the home she fought so hard to build. Do you see where I'm going with this? Before I let myself be kind of sappy, because the next part is my couple headcanons, I'm gonna go over what I am drawing. I waited this long to make this video because I really wanted to draw Awakened Golden Cheese with Sage of Truth Shadow Milk, because I knew, I saw the silhouette leaks and I knew it was going to be a costume, because, it's cute. Technically, I was supposed to draw these two in a different pose, but this one was way easier for me to draw. I hope nobody's too disappointed. This picture, it's happening in the Vanilla Kingdom, probably at some sort of council, and it's supposed to look like Shadow Milk was, walking and reading, and Golden Cheese surprised him with a little, just hi. I did change a couple parts of the Sage of Truth design. Basically, I kept his eyes and eye markings the same and removed the monocle because, I don't know, in this context, it's not really supposed to be a swamp AU with pure vanilla, and it helps keep more of Shadow Milk's identity, I guess. I'm pretty happy with the poses, and Golden Cheese looks way better than she did the last time I tried to draw her. This is the fun part. I get to be a sappy little shipper and tell y'all how I think these two would act as a couple. This is like my favorite ship right now. So there are a lot of headcanons. Again, sap warning. Nothing bad, but y'all are gonna be able to make a truckload of maple syrup with my sap. Okay, so first, I like to think that they're almost always together. Like, if they can be around each other, they will be. You know, just kind of like holding hands all the time, sitting next to each other, little kisses on the cheek, leaning on each other's shoulders. That one's mostly Golden Cheese, because Shadowcheese is taller. The works. Like, I don't know much about love languages other than they exist, but I know that 2 of them are physical touch and giving gifts, and these are the 2 I feel like they have. Shadowmilk would like physical touch because he was a spirit for a long time and obviously couldn't touch or hold things, and he's making up for that. And Golden Cheese just loves all this affection. Golden Cheese herself would be a huge gift giver, you know, for obvious reasons. And that's why I drew a couple of gold things on Shadowmilk and a few blue things on Golden Cheese. I wanted to give her some gifts back. Don't tell me that's not cute. I also really like the little nickname I made that I think Shadowmilk would use, because I think the fandom just like collectively agrees that he is incapable of using anyone's real name. So I think he calls her Goldie. Is it unoriginal? Yes. Is it cute? Also yes. Golden Cheese wouldn't be a huge nicknamer. She'd be more the type to call him by either his name or my love or something like that. I try to headcanon the ship in a way that doesn't, you know, break either of their characters, which is easier said than done. But they're honestly both the chaotic one of their respective groups, which makes sticking them together all the cuter, because they'd be chaotic when they're apart, but like the most affectionate couple when they're together. I also think they do a ton of date nights, probably drag White Lily and Pure Vanilla into a few, without consent, of course. The little double date screenshot I posted is something I feel like would happen way too often, where the point where Pure Lily just wouldn't argue anymore, even though the dates just kind of turn into dinner and watching Shadowcheese be a goofy little couple, while Pure Lily tries to keep it from becoming too awkward. The story behind Shadowmilk becoming Sage of Truth here is basically him saying yes to Pure Vanilla and Beast East 8, not because he wants Pure Vanilla to be his friend, because he knows Golden Cheese is waiting for him, and he's honestly been looking for a way out to get back to her. Obviously, Shadowmilk and Pure Vanilla do become friends, but this is a shitfic. Shadowcheese supremacy is all that matters. And when she first sees him, Golden Cheese is like, "Where's my silly boyfriend?" Because Sage of Truth is a vibe separate from Shadowmilk, and we all know another way these two would show affection is by quipping at each other with sass battles and playful insult. But Shadowmilk is like, "Don't worry, I'm still your silly boyfriend." Commence romantic reunion, followed by romantic shenanigans. Back to the art, because I have no more headcanons. That went faster than I thought it would. There's still 3 minutes left on this video, not including the outro. We're talking about the background, because I can make this interesting. Background, it's pretty simple. Sky, plants. Wanted the focus to be on the goobers, but not for long, I promise. I put in an add layer and a multiply layer on opposite corners to make the lighting a little more dynamic, and committed to having the light coming from the left. And it actually worked for once. I am so bad at good lighting, yay me. Wanted to make all the shadows blue and all the lights an orangey color, but that didn't really work with the duo's literally complementary color palettes, so I have 2 completely different sets of shadow colors, a tealy blue for cool colors, and a yellow, just to keep the shadows a little cooler, for warm ones. I would be worried about my layer count if I hadn't gotten into the habit of using like 4 rendering layers. 2 for shadows, 1 lighter and 1 darker, 1 layer for highlights, 1 for white highlights, and a couple for little details like the colored lines on the nose and Golden Cheese's lips that almost get immediately merged into the base layer. I actually attempted giving Shadowmilk small lips to see if I liked that. I did not. That got scrapped immediately. I did it because guys do have lips. Lips are not a female exclusive thing, but when I try to draw lips on guys, it usually doesn't go well. But, you know, jokes aside, I feel like the rendering on this picture kind of turned out phenomenally. Like, I don't know what I did, but their faces look so good for some reason, and I hate to toot my own horn, but I kind of slayed. Because later, I do some fancy stuff with gradient maps and stuff that just makes it look kind of peak, and probably my most aesthetic picture I've ever really drawn. I actually used to make groups for every single piece of the drawing and shade them all separately. I had so many layers, and they all needed to be named and organized and stuff. The way I do things now is way more streamlined and a ton easier. I also, and there is evidence of this in my older videos, used to add effects like halftone and stuff to every single shadow. don't fact check this. Those videos are bad. Oh my word. Which is ironic because I haven't really changed anything about the way I make videos. I think it's mostly my vocal quality that is upgraded. Oh my gosh, though. I watched my old videos recently to check this, and the way I talked in those old videos, the way I talked a year ago, was so weird. You could tell that I was trying way too hard to make it interesting or something, and my scripts, I wrote them like they were essays, and I had this weird customer service voice going on. Nowadays, I just kind of use my normal voice with a little bit of extra hype and type my scripts the way I type a message to one of my friends. It sounds so much better, like, objectively. With that said, we're just about done, so let's see the finished piece. And here it is! I just now realized that I cut the footage where I added the extra fancy stuff, but you can see it here. I made the background like more pinky, gave it kind of a sunsetty vibe, and darkened my two like fancy layers, the add and multiply layers. I really hope you guys like it. I'm personally super happy with how it turned out, especially compared to the last time I drew these two together. I think it looks like significantly better, and yeah, just in general is definitely an improvement on both my art style and my art skills in general. So let's go into the outro. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. If that's true, please feel free to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and comment any thoughts you got down below. And I promise I'm never doing an intro like that again. You're safe now. And with all that said, have a great day, everybody. Kray-Zee out.